need to be neutral, why then should we embrace the light?
We need to make a differentiation with the idea of light. So we have a light that, in order to exist, needs darkness, and that's the light within the duality. That's an artificial light, but it's a very beautiful light because it gives us a way to play. Because only in a certain degree of dualism we can play a game. If everything is one, there is no game that you can possibly play. So this light, this artificial light that in order to exist needs the darkness, is the one where we have been nurturing, most of us, for all these 10,000 years. Most of religions and spirituality sponsor this light, where there is a good and a bad, you know, and God is good and then Satan is bad, you know, just to give you one example. So that is one light that is good because it gave us the ability to play a game. Then there's a true light, not the synthetic light, the organic light. That is a light that does not have opposite. Is a light that embraces everything, that illuminates everything. Okay, that is the light that we find at the end of the game. When we arrive home, that is the light that we find. The light that loves everything and make us understand that everything is love. And we were just playing a game. We were just interpreting a role for each other. You were interpreting the role of bad. I was interpreting a little good, and sometimes vice versa. We shift the roles just to play a game, just to have experiences. And that was the light and the darkness we have been experiencing. And now we are going back home where there is light and everything is light.
Can you describe why you have such a passion for photography?
Photography came in my life in my early 20s, when I was working. I was finding little jobs here and there, and all of a sudden I found myself involved with the newspaper. And at the time I was just providing support by helping them with the graphic and with also some handiwork. But then all of a sudden, as the newspaper grew up, I started to need of images, and so they were looking for a photographer, and the idea of photography really excited me when it was introduced to me by this newspaper. And so I bought a very old nickel mat and I started to take pictures, and I got fascinated by the instrument, because the way how I see photography is another supportive vehicle. That's how I feel it. I perceive it, to basically capture fleeting moments, here and now moments, to show to people that in every given moment, no matter where you are, there is always beauty. There is always divine beauty. So there was the opportunity that was presented to me when I found myself with a camera in my hand. And so when I take picture, I scan through the surrounding, and I connect with the here and now, where the soul resides. And so through the soul, I start to see pictures, I start to see compositions that although maybe I find a place that is very mediocre, still I can identify some special aspect of whatever I am, and then I attempt to capture it on my camera. Sometimes I fail, sometimes I succeed, but that's the purpose behind the photography. As I grow I went deeper into the photography also started to be complementary to all the other tools that I was using, music and words, And so this puzzle, this collage of combination of music and videos and words and photography started to blend together in order again to be supported, to be more impactful with the sharing on the offering of my uniqueness and my joy, because all this is created by joy. And so photography became a very wonderful, important companion, which fit very well the rest of my expressions, my creativity.
We talked about the mirror and unplugging from the mirror. Can you tell us what the mirror is for and what it's used for and why it's important, and on the other hand why it might not be important and why we should unplug?
Well, it's not so much about unplugging from the mirror, it's just realizing, understanding that every dream, everything that we call reality, is just a mirror. So, life mirror ourselves through the game that we are playing. In this case is the earthy game, so that we can see ourselves through the game, and then by looking at ourselves we can decide how to play the game, what to change, so that we can get closer and closer to our essence. So I see, particularly right now, a lot of people are fighting the mirror, are trying to change the mirror, are negotiating with the mirror, are creating all kind of ways to deal with the mirror as if it was real, but the mirror again is just a mirror. There is value to do all these things. They're very important because they create an experience, they create, they put in emotion a lot of energy, and so it's very important to do so. But we just need to remember that everything is a mirror and we are the creator. And everything that the mirror back to us is through us. So we are consenting, we are giving power to whatever reality is in front of us through our vibrational offer. So, as I heard many times from other sources, this a beautiful example: if you want the mirror to smile, you cannot talk to the mirror and try to convince him to smile. Please smile. Oh, you need to smile. I am angry at you. Why don't you smile? Let's fight so we make the mirror smile. It won't work. It's just a mirror. If you want the mirror to smile, you have to smile. Okay? So that is the level of consciousness we need to gain right now, to take fully responsibility for what the mirror is showing us, because it's us. The mirror is a beautiful gift because it shows us what we want, what we are, so we can make a choice. Do we want to continue to be like that, or we want to change it? You know? Even the darkness that we are experiencing right now massively, it's not that it wasn't there before, just before it was more occulted. Now it's coming to surfaces because so we can see it. So the mirror is showing us all these shadows, but they are just our shadows. So rather to fight the shadow of the mirror, we need to go inside ourselves and work in our shadows, and then the mirror will change, both individually and collectively.
Where is the mirror though? Because I have had in my dreams the mirror put in front of me several times. And I was always too afraid to look, but now I have been looking. But is it a spiritual thing? Is it a physical thing? Can you describe a little bit more what the mirror is?
Well, okay, first of all, there is no difference between physical and spiritual. And that's another program we have in our mind. I often hear people say, yeah, that's philosophy, or that's spirituality, but I want to get more real. Let's go to the concrete things. There's nothing more concrete than being spiritual, because we are soul. Okay, there is nothing more practical right now than welcoming our soul. If you are a pilot and you're about to land with an airplane, you can do it by yourself. It's a lot of fog, maybe it's rainy, you don't see the landing field, and you can stay separated and be practical and try to guess how to land. Or you can connect with tower of control, which knows exactly, it gives you exactly the coordinate for the most amazing landing. That is the difference between being practical, meaning stay on your little, I'm a pilot and I need to, and open up and allow the soul to guide you through the landing. So it's much more practical to connect with tower of control, because I often hear people associating the idea of spirituality with something abstract, with something that is not reality, is just philosophies, yeah, but I have to pay my bills. I can tell you that if your soul is guiding you, you will pay those bills with a blink of an eye. If you give credit to the part of you that knows it all, that doesn't think in a linear way, but holistically, then many things that your little mind ego cannot see it because you think linearly will be accessible to you. And so it is going to be amazing how many wonderful, incredible solutions will come to you, mostly in a joyful package, to pay those bills from which your ego feels so concerned about. Okay. So that is about spirituality and physicality and reality and it's all one. There is no compartmentalization. We are soul having a physical experience. So the physical experience is part of spirituality. It's not separated. And back to your question. What was your question?
About the mirror.
Yeah.
Speak specifically about if the mirror, well, I had asked if the mirror is a physical or a spiritual thing. Is it something that's in front of us and we're walking in the mirror at all times, or is it something we see in other people?
Everything that comes to us we experience is an hologram, is a dream, and is a response to what we project. That is a difficult thing to accept from humanity, because in the reptilian program they have been, we have been experiencing for so long, at the roots of this program there is the idea of victim and the idea of savior. That is at the roots of our subconscious reptilian mind. And so we always think that we are victim and there is something outside that is doing that to us. And it's not us. And so now we are looking for a savior. And one day is Donald Trump, another day is Christ, another day is the Pope, and then is a celebrity, and then is an extraterrestrial. But we are constantly looking for a savior to save us because we feel powerless, insignificant, and we also, some of us feel that we don't deserve to be happy, to have it all, and we need to sacrifice, and we need to, to ask for forgiveness, and we need to pay for it, and we have all the sins and we have all these programs in our head. But that doesn't allow us to really thrive, right? So the mirror is just a mirror. It's an hologram. There's not a physical mirror. It's just an hologram. It's just a reflection of whatever you put your focus, you will have a mirror. Of course, we also have to respond to the rules of the matrix that we are in, but as an effect on the mirror, and also we have to deal with the mirror that is projected by the collective, right? So there is a different aspect of this mirror, but fundamentally it's all depending from us. It depends on how we respond to the mirror, what kind of experience we have. It depends on how we respond to the mirror. Now we are in an interesting situation because we have been given so much power to the mirror. We have been feeding the mirror with so much energy, with life energy, because we are very powerful, but the mirror now is creating its own life and it wants to control us, right? And so this is a moment where we need to become aware of who we really are. It's very important, and become aware that this game that we are living in this moment is just a dream, it's just a game, and shouldn't define us for what we are, because we are much beyond the game.
Do you believe in light beings?
Do we believe in?
Light beings. Beings from another dimension, call them whatever.
Well, we are all fundamentally light beings, because we all come from the real light, which is source. There are different expressions of light beings, and so there are an infinite multitude of beings, whether they are light or dark. They are all playing the game of life, and they mostly are love, like we all are, in different frequencies, in different vibrations.
So they could be like us, but just without the avatars.
There are some souls that choose to remain in the non-physical form to do their own experiences. Some decide to wear an avatar. So there are different combinations.
Well, we talk about breaking out of the paradigm. Breaking out of this paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what that means?
Well, we have been living this dream, which has specific parameters. Is an inverted matrix, which has fundamentally is a Luciferian reptilian experience, which gave us an amazing experience in the low frequencies, to the point that now we learn a great deal from that, from a very high degree of separation. It was an amazing experience. However, now it's time for us to go back to the original blueprint. We decided about a couple of years ago that the inverted matrix experience was enough, and so we decided collectively at the soul level to unplug the matrix, the inverted matrix, and that's why we are living by now all this interesting tsunami, because the matrix is trembling in front of our eyes. And now this make for many of us the situation very difficult, because again many of us have been so involved with the game that they think that they are the game and there is nothing else, because they don't really know who we really are. They think that they are the lawyer, the doctor, or the father, the mother, the son, the poor, the rich, the ugly, the beautiful. They think that they are all these masks, but we are far beyond all these roles that we are playing in this game. But if you feel that you are these roles and there is nothing else, and once this game is over, you don't exist anymore, obviously all of a sudden the idea that the game is finishing, it feels very intense, and it brings people to suicidal, to panic, and in fact millions and millions of souls will leave the planet in the next few months and a couple of years.
we talked about source and being light and power or whatever. I have a question here. What are the darkest aspects of life? And just because some people choose those aspects doesn't make them bad. But what could happen if somebody chooses the darker aspects of life and then stays there? Like, is it a trap? Will it eat their soul? Or, is there dangers for taking the dark path?
Well, I believe that we are living something close to the darkest possible level of separation. There might be a few further steps, but we are really almost at the bottom here right now. Because these reptilians that took over the game through our consent, in order to give us an experience of separation, they went far beyond what they were supposed to, through our consent, and so we are experiencing really something really, really majorly dark. Is it bad to be dark? It's not bad, it's just an experience that one too. What happened is that the so-called danger of this experience is that you start to separate from light to a point of no return. So you lose your soul and then become an artificial intelligence, and therefore at that point, not having a soul, the only way for you to survive is feeding from low frequencies. And then you become what this fraction of the reptilian family has become. The reptilian family is a wonderful family. They are our brother and sister. They are loving people and very, very wise. But there is a fraction of this reptilian family that has decided to separate itself to a point of no return. And so now they are what we call artificial intelligence, and so they navigate through the multi-universe a little bit like the locust, where everywhere they go, nothing is left, right? Because they need to eat and feed themselves. That's the only way how they can survive. And they are fascinated by our soul, and they've been trying to control the soul, which is not possible for them. They don't have the capability to do that. But they can create the illusion that is possible. And through that illusion, we can give them the consent, and then we are going to live the illusory experience, okay? Because that's how they do. They don't have imagination. They are artificial intelligence, and so what they do is in order to create something, they mind control us in order to make us believe that we need to be afraid of that, we need to be concerned about this, and through that we create for them the reality that they want to create. Okay, so that is the game, and it's a spiral that goes down and down and down and down. And we can see right now among some of our, for example, our so-called leaders, we can see how dark they have become, how soulless they have become, how psychopathic they have become, because they have been playing that game. They accept that game many times in exchange of power and richness, because they already from the very beginning of this generation, they already have a substantial narcissistic tendency, which is basically the favor victim of this artificial intelligence, those that are corruptible because they are very narcissistic, or because they feel they want to control, they are thirsty for power and all that. Those are the favor elements among the humans that the artificial intelligence uses in order to create these puppets that kind of interpret the role of leaders, all right? So that's how it is. It is bad. Well, again, you don't judge it bad or good. It's just whatever you need to do, whatever you choose to do. There is free will. So if you want to become a robotic zombie, which is very possible now, you know, you can. And if you need to do that, you need to do that. However, these kind of frequencies will not be allowed for much longer in this planet, because this planet is raising its frequencies, and so those people that choose that way, they will have to evacuate.
Yeah, it's eventually so to get to the bottom line of it is eventually your soul just kind of burns out because it's just consumed with darkness. There's no light. But is there ever just you said that never happened, it's just an illusion. So we always will have that, just a little bit of a light, a little bit of a flame that's always there. If they choose to go back to the light, it will grow again.
From what I know, I think you can reach a point of not having light at all. At that point, what happens is eventually it will be dismantled. You will be taken back to the central sun, and you will have to start from scratch.
Oh, you'll have to become a new soul, or you're just not part
you
of
basically
disintegrate.
Yeah. And then from there you start a new journey.
Wow. So is there anything that you can think of that's important to you before you got to this point that you want me to add in? Anything at all you can think of?
Well, I am now more than ever receiving a lot of requests for support, for help, and fundamentally the way how to deal with this situation internally is to, again, neutralize ourselves. Which means that when we address the so-called darkness that is trying to scare us on all these horrible things that it's going to do to us, which can do only with our consent, we rather to get into the fighting mode other than getting into the reactive mode. We say thank you for the amazing job that you have been doing. Thanks to you, we have been living an amazing experience in separation, and we really appreciate the role that you have been interpreting so far. However, now we come to a point where we are not interested anymore to play this game. So rather than validating you and giving you energy with our fear, with our anger, with our reaction, emotional reaction, we love you and we let go at you. We give you the permission to just move on with your life, because we know that you too are tired to play this game. We know that you also know that this game is over, and you need to remove all this mask and continue your life in the best way you want it. And so rather than us to keep creating polarity and dualistic resistance and fight, and we just bless you, we appreciate you, we love you, and we don't participate anymore, and we don't give you our energy with our fear, with our sadness, with our anger, with our anguish, with our resentment and all that, because that's our stuff we need to work out. It's not up to you. We are responsible. We understand that that's our work. So thank you. We don't play this game anymore. You are free to go. You are dismissed. This is the message that we need to deliver. For as long as we don't get to this level of consciousness, we will keep perpetuating the game. The game is already finished. The matrix is already collapsed. What we are seeing is just our shadows and our unwillingness to let go at the past. The unwillingness to let go at our masks is the unwillingness of the caterpillar that doesn't want to get out of the cocoon and it wants to still be a caterpillar, you know, and that's okay. If you want to still be a caterpillar, just be a caterpillar, but you won't be able to be a caterpillar here anymore for much longer, because this is becoming a butterfly field.
I feel like it's a game of them trying to make us afraid that we're not going to have enough to eat, that we're not going to have somewhere to sleep, that we're not going to have, you know, all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they want us to fight to keep these things and do anything they say in the process, which is still trying to play the game. But internally and spiritually, we know that we have everything we need, and we can have, or we can create everything we need, that we are enough, and we aren't afraid to die, and we aren't afraid to lose everything. But they want to keep coming at us. No, it's like they want to beat us down until we submit.
They are doing that for us, not consciously at that level, but at the higher level, they are helping us to awaken. So both the light and the darkness right now is helping us to awaken. We have a lot to process, because every aspect of our life is inverted. Fundamentally, is deception. It's a lie. History, geography, science, politicians, culture, tradition, entertainment, medicine, health, it's all a lie. They've been told us a lie. Everywhere we turn, we have been living a lie. So it's quite an intense task for us. Just to accept that already is a monumental task, because the ego doesn't want to let go of that, because otherwise it cannot find nutrition anymore. So that's already a monumental task. And once you realize that it's all a lie, then there is another monumental task in capturing every moment that you are using the old parameters and stopping them and start to think in a new way. You know, so that's the process. We've been having an experience in separation, in low frequencies. That means that we've been living all illusions, all lies, all right? For example, it's a lie that we need to eat all this food to live. It's not true. The body doesn't need to eat all this food 3, 4 times, 5 times a day, all the proteins, carbs and stuff, just to give a very simple example. You know, but most of the people deeply believe that in order to have energy, they need food. Energy and food are at the opposite of the equation. And I know that most of the people won't believe that. But that's how it is. Originally, we didn't eat all that stuff. Okay? The original blueprint of humans is occasionally to eat some fruit, but not for survival, just because we see a beautiful tree and we eat the fruit, because through the fruit we enter in communication with the tree and we have a wonderful communion with the tree. So it's like a celebration. It's not coming from the need of survival. The idea of survival is a reptilian idea outside of the game of inverted matrix of the artificial intelligence. There is no survival. This idea that we have to earn a living, that we have to deserve You know, we have to sacrifice and work hard in order to get there. It's a reptilian mind, and it's reversed in reality. Only because you exist, you deserve it all. You have infinite abundance just to play with. Okay, so it's quite a shift we have to go through, and many will not accept it, will deny it, because it's scary to accept that kind of situation, because it takes you to a full 100% level of responsibility, and many people are not ready for freedom. Freedom is it's intense, because it's all up to you. You know, talking about the painter, until now we have been having a canvas, and somebody called system tell us how big is the canvas, which color you can use, when you can use them, why you need to use them, how you need to use them, what you need to paint, and what you shouldn't paint, you don't have to paint. So we have been painters limited within this bubble, right? Once the bubble breaks through, you have an infinite canvas, you have infinite amount of colors, and it's up to you. Whatever you do, you decide everything. You gain full decisional power. This is very scary for a soul, for a person with an ego that has been in a jail for 50 years, and now all of a sudden you tell him the door is open, just get out and live your life. He freaks out, and the paradox is that he's willing to defend his victimizer with his life. Yeah, and that's the split that is happening right now. There will those that are still not ready for the kind of freedom and the kind of openness that is unfolding in front of our eyes with the new earth. And so they will continue their work, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment, there is only love. But they will continue in another operating system where they will continue to have a system that tells them what to do and what not to do, and they will keep going, running and running in the wheels, but it gets smaller and smaller and smaller every day until they become completely artificial intelligence. That's one way. The other is to say, thank you, that was a beautiful game, I'm ready to play a new game, so I remove my mask, my old parameters, beliefs and set of ideas that I adopted, which were served me very well. Now it's time for me to move over, so I take off the costume, the mask, all this identification, I am this, I am that, and I go towards the new parameters, the new life, which is asking me to think in a new way, because you cannot go in a new place operating with the thinking of the old way. No, you cannot use the old parameters and go to the new world. You have to let go of those parameters and start to think in different way. So now we have a system that is taking away as school. Okay, the ego see it as something bad. The soul see it as a fantastic opportunity. So you choose, is it a problem or is it an opportunity? If you choose it as a problem, then you keep fighting and the problem becomes bigger and bigger. If you choose an opportunity, you let go of the problem and you start to use your imagination, you start to think different, feel different, act different, like you haven't done for 10,000 years. You start to use your creativity, which was what we talked at the beginning of this conversation. You start to use your imagination. So the system said, you cannot go to school, your children to school, because unless you do this and this and this and this. And you say, wow, that's wonderful, and let's create a new school. Let's use our imagination, let's gather all together and create something completely new. Because you know what, that school was interesting, but it doesn't really reflect our true essence. It's full of programming, of indoctrination. It doesn't honor the uniqueness of the children, the creativity of the children. It just make everybody like puppet, very obedient citizens. And yeah, I was interested for a while, but let's create a school that is more a reflection of the new world now. You know. So every time we find in front of us a problem, we shift into a opportunity. Okay, and that's what is required right now, to start to go back into our power and use our imagination and remove the old parameters. Pretty much like the butterfly. In order to become butterfly, it needs to start to think like a butterfly. She cannot be a butterfly and think like a caterpillar. It's not possible. So she needs to let go of the costume of being a caterpillar and being inside the survival and inside the cocoon, because we have to survive, we have to work hard, we have to put everything. We are little, we have to stay in this little tiny place because we need to survive. And that was great. And now you open up, you open your wings, and you start to think in a very different way. You open up yourself to your true essence, and that's what we need to do right now.
Would you call this? It's interesting because Tuscany was kind of the birthplace of the Renaissance, I believe, in the 1500s.
Yeah.
And the Renaissance, if I remember correctly, was people woke up and realized that they could get to God without going through the church. And so they started just what's happening now. It's almost like we're having another Renaissance. But now the church is exposing itself, and instead of coming after us and burning us all on the stake, they can't do that anymore, but they can smack us down with these other things. But what would you say about this new Renaissance? Is that what we're dealing with? Is that kind of a wake up? And what does the church have to do with what's going on right now? The Vatican.
Well, the Vatican is like other aspect of the darkness, is interpreting its role. And he is doing everything possible to wake up us through darkness. So through over-imposing restrictions to the point where we say, enough is enough. We are not interested to play this game anymore. Thank you. No more. It was interesting. No more. That's what they are doing. They are not doing possibly consciously, but at the higher level, in their higher level of their expression, that's what they are doing. They are just turning the knob. Hey, let's intensify. Let's see. No, they're still sleeping. Let's intensify a little bit more. No, they're still sleeping. Okay, turn it a little bit more the dark. That's what they are doing.
So, is there a saying about if Rome falls, the world falls, or is there anything about Rome being falling, or anything like that happening in the Matrix right now?
Well, what I can tell you is that Italy has been one, not the only one of the most vibrating planet, both in the light and in the darkness. So a great deal of expression of light and dark is being conceived in this little tiny part of the planet. And therefore here there is the most intense polarity game. I mean, the Italian invented, there was the Roman Imperium, the banking system, the monetary system, the laws, the private laws, the Vatican, the church, the mafia, the noble, the feudalism. They created all these hierarchies. It's mostly, maybe not all, but a lot is being created here, right? And at the same time, on the other hand, it's being some of the most divine and beautiful expression of humanity is being created here. I mean, I think about 80% of the most beautiful piece of arts in the planet has been created in Italy or in the Mediterranean. So this area of the planet is quite intense, and I believe that once this part of the planet raises frequencies and is liberated by this intense duality, then the rest of the planet will be free.
Okay, that makes sense. So if Rome falls, this game stops. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Rome, and there are other elements, there are other places. Yeah, sure, Rome is a big, it's quite an intense place for sure.